Bonjour, je m'appelle Elisabeth Nock. Nous sommes très heureux d'être ici avec les élèves des autres écoles de la baie et de nous joindre à vous pour accueillir à San Francisco Monsieur le Président de la République, François Hollande.
Hello, my name is Luke Singer, and I'll translate what my friend just said. We are excited with other students from Bay Area French schools in welcoming His Excellency François Hollande, the President of the French Republic, to San Francisco. And now, may I please present San Francisco's Chief of Protocol, Charlotte Schultz.
Thank you. I couldn't have said that better. So French is alive and well in our schools, French American schools in San Francisco, and French is in the air with the visit of the President of the Republic of France, François. You are here with us, and we are really delighted. Along with you, we are so pleased that you have brought such a delegation. I believe they are here, the ministers of your government, the elected officials, the ambassador, and your advisors. You are here in a city of innovation, and the French have brought so much here. And today we are in City Hall, and your host is Mayor Ed Lee, who welcomes you here to this wonderful City Hall, which has a great deal to say about France with its Beaux-Arts architecture. Thank you, Mr. President, for coming west after your visit in Washington, D.C. I understand you were here some years ago. It's a little incongruous to think that you came across the United States to study fast foods. You are French, aren't you? Yes. But we welcome you here today. And in San Francisco, we hope that not only you learn about all the innovation, but I also know that you will see the hospitality and you will see the French influence all around our city, the culture that has brought here. In 1839, the first immigrant came, and then, of course, during the gold rush, many French came and gave us gold by being good business people, good citizens, and most of all, good friends. There is someone here who knows about this City Hall. He has been a supervisor. He's been the mayor of San Francisco, and now may I present the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of California, Gavin Newsom.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte. Good to be back. Well, on behalf of Governor Brown and a grateful state, welcome, Mr. President. It's an honor to have you here. And, I was thinking about this, all over the world, every day you pick up the paper, and nations and people are literally being torn apart because of racial and religious and ethnic controversies that are fueling fanaticism and fueling terror in too many instances. And you think about San Francisco, you think about the state of California. Here we are in one of the most diverse cities, in one of the most diverse regions, in the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy, America. And by and large, I think people look to us to see that it's possible to live together, to advance together, and prosper together across every conceivable and imaginable difference. I think, Mr. President, if there's anything that you should take away from your visit here is, at our best, we don't just tolerate our diversity, we truly celebrate it. We celebrate our interesting differences, but as Dr. King talked so eloquently about, we unite around our common humanity, things that bind us together. We also have entrepreneurial genes running through our veins. Everywhere you go, this notion of innovation, a state, as we love to describe it, of dreamers, of doers, of entrepreneurs, of innovators, a city like our state prided itself on being on the leading and cutting edge of new ideas. And I know you are going to be visiting some of the more entrepreneurial companies and some of the more entrepreneurially minded people in this region, and we think you chose wisely. So again, we're grateful for your visit, and we are hopeful you take away a lot of inspired ideas, and we look forward to inviting you back. Vive la France.
Along with the Lieutenant Governor, there are many elected officials here who I'd like to welcome. And also, I have brought my secretary, Secretary George Schultz. The mayor of the great city of San Francisco, your host today, has a French connection. They say he can sing. He went to Paris when he was 16, I believe, and I'm not sure whether he tasted the wine, but supposedly he sang there. And since then, he's been singing in the mayor's office. So may I present our mayor, who also has a French connection of having gone there with our Paris sister city, and Tom Horn, our chairman, is here with that committee. So we expect to be back in Paris many times. So Mayor, I'll go as the advance team, okay? Thank you. So may I present our mayor of the great city and county of San Francisco, Ed Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. I failed to get casted at the Les Mis show, but I am pleased to have a chance to welcome the President of our French Republic to San Francisco. And it is important, it's appropriate that San Francisco meet with our country's oldest ally, the French. And obviously, our countries coordinate on a whole range of crucial bilateral issues. President Hollande just met with President Obama yesterday. And I must thank and commend President Hollande for venturing here to San Francisco. I think your stay in our city will make it clear that while Washington, D.C. is the United States national capital, San Francisco is the innovation capital of the world. Mr. President, as home to top technology and creative workforces in the world, we have seen more and more talent move here every day, attracted by our walkable, our mixed use, our transit-oriented city, but also the renowned dining and arts and culture that makes our city so unique. And this influx has benefited San Francisco in numerous ways, driving solutions to long-standing social and environmental and civic challenges while building a stronger economy. And I know from our exchanges with Paris, our sister city, that France is also committed to remaining competitive, attractive, and innovative into the 21st century. President Hollande and I just had a really excellent conversation with our teams of representatives, and we talked about how to encourage growth, encourage innovation in all the areas of the economy while making sure that our economic successes reach all of our citizens. We talked about ways in which we can share best practices to help address common challenges such as housing, education, jobs, and affordability. And so we are very committed to continuing to strengthen our ties with the French government and to encourage partnerships between businesses and San Francisco and France. But perhaps the greatest ties to France go well beyond between the government and the businesses, and these are what we call the bonds of family. Since the earliest days of San Francisco, when we were known as Yerba Buena, French men and women and children left their homes of their ancestors and came here for new opportunities. And our city is proud that we've been a long-time home to many French and French Americans. The discovery of gold in 1848 brought an unprecedented number of French newcomers to San Francisco. In fact, it led the largest migration in the history of France. Did you know that the French built the original hotel on the present site of the Fairmont Hotel? They organized one of our first voluntary fire companies. They built the first railroad in San Francisco, a steam line from the Bay to what is now known as Mission Dolores. French citizens were among the first to found a large and successful banking institution in our city. And there are French societies of almost every kind and description in our city: social, religious, fraternal, patriotic, philanthropic, you name it, and all of them can trace their beginnings to the early days of our city. San Francisco's French community has embraced the city's status as an international center for culture, for trade, for commerce, and for tourism. Well, the most visible influence of France can be found right here, as Charlotte said, in our Civic Center, our Beaux Arts monument to the City Beautiful. And it's a movement that was designed by, of course, the architect Arthur Brown, who was trained in Paris. And the centerpiece of this complex, our City Hall, was constructed in the style that was inspired by Les Invalides in Paris, and it reflects our enduring affection for the people of France. But you know, some might say that City Hall isn't France's greatest influence in San Francisco, but rather it might be the legacy of French bakers who brought sourdough bread techniques to Northern California during the California Gold Rush. You know, sourdough is a key part of our San Francisco cuisine and culinary traditions. And the most famous of the San Francisco French bread companies comes from Boudin Bakery, founded by French immigrants, whose initial recipe in 1849 still lives on today. It is San Francisco's oldest continuously running company. So, Mr. President, I hope that during your visit you'll see how much we San Franciscans value our relationship with France and how important the French community is to our character and to our quality of our city. You have a standing invitation to visit whenever you like, President, and so that you know that our doors will always be open to you. It is with great honor that I hereby present to you the city's highest honor, the key to the city of San Francisco.
Mr. President.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know that in San Francisco everybody understands French. So I will speak in French. Monsieur le maire, merci pour votre accueil et votre hospitalité. Monsieur le lieutenant-gouverneur, merci pour les mots que vous avez eus à notre arrivée et le soutien que vous nous apportez pour des réformes de société en France. Vous saluerez le gouverneur Brown, qui, je le sais, est en visite dans une partie de son État particulièrement touchée par la sécheresse.
Mayor Ali, Mayor of San Francisco, thank you very much for the warm reception in this town hall. Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, I would like to thank you for your kind words and also to thank you for the support you gave to the societal reforms that we have engaged in France. And I would like you to greet Mayor Brown, who unfortunately isn't able to be here due to exceptional circumstances, the drought that you are suffering here in your state.
Madame Schultz, merci d'avoir organisé cette magnifique réception et de nous avoir permis de revoir votre mari, George Schultz, pour lequel nous avons une grande admiration pour la tâche qu'il avait menée auprès du président Reagan pour assurer la sécurité et la paix dans le monde.
Mrs. Schultz, we would like to thank you for this warm reception, and we would like also to pay tribute to Mr. Schultz, and we would like to pay tribute to the sterling work he did. He is a wonderful man and did sterling work, and we would like to pay tribute to the work he has done over the years.
Et dans l'entretien qu'il nous accordait, avec Monsieur le maire et Monsieur le vice-gouverneur, il nous disait qu'il fallait faire confiance en la jeunesse. Et je pense qu'il faut faire aussi confiance en la sagesse quand nous voyons George Schultz.
In the discussions we had earlier with the ministers and members of the government, he told us that we need to trust youth But I would reply that we also need to trust wisdom, of which he is an example.
Il y a 30 ans, François Mitterrand, président de la République, recevait les clés de la ville de San Francisco. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le maire, de m'en donner un second exemplaire. Sauf à penser que la première clé n'ouvrait plus déjà les portes de San Francisco.
30 years ago, François Mitterrand was awarded the keys to the city of San Francisco. I would like to thank you warmly for the honor you bestow upon me and for this spare copy of the keys. I hope it works as well as the first copy.
Mais c'est un signe de confiance qui nous permet de penser que nous pouvons revenir à tout moment, jour et nuit, ici à San Francisco, et que nous aurons toujours le code pour rentrer.
But I hope this is a sign of confidence that we will be able to come back here to San Francisco day or night and that we will always be able to turn the key and open the door.
San Francisco est une ville très chère au cœur des Français. Beaucoup ne la connaissent pas et en ont rêvé. Et quand je suis arrivé ici, dans ce splendide hôtel de ville, qui nous rappelle l'hôtel des Invalides à Paris, mais il n'y a sans doute pas de lien, j'ai été accueilli par une chanson qui est celle de Maxime Le Forestier, qui était prononcée par les jeunes du lycée et qui est connue de toutes les générations, San Francisco.
San Francisco is a city that is dear to all French citizens' heart, although many don't know it personally. And when I arrived here, I was struck by the beauty of this building, which reminds us of the Hôtel des Invalides in Paris, although I'm sure there is no link here. And also when I arrived, I was welcomed by young children singing a French song that all French people know very well, Maxime Le Forestier's song, San Francisco. I was deeply moved.
Lorsque le nom de San Francisco est prononcé, c'est toujours pour évoquer la liberté, la tolérance, la créativité, la modernité. Et ceci explique que 60 000 Français vivent sur la baie de San Francisco. Et je sais qu'il y en a ici que je retrouverai encore ce soir lorsque je rencontrerai la communauté française.
When we hear the name of San Francisco, it conjures up images of liberty, tolerance, creativity, modernity. That is probably the reason why 60,000 French men and women have chosen to settle down here in the San Francisco Bay. Some of them are here in this very room. Some of them I will have the opportunity of meeting tonight.
C'est ici, en Californie, à San Francisco, que s'invente le monde de demain, celui du XXIe siècle. C'est ici qu'une révolution s'est initiée à travers les nouvelles technologies et qui attire tous les talents du monde. Et c'est pourquoi les Français sont présents.
San Francisco, California, this is the place where tomorrow's world is being invented, the world of the 21st century. It is a genuine revolution that started here with a new technology, and this revolution will have an impact, no doubt, on the rest of the world.
C'est ici que sur la santé, l'énergie, les nouvelles technologies de l'information sont créés les produits, les médicaments ou les innovations qui vont bouleverser la vie de nos concitoyens, ici aux États-Unis comme partout dans le monde.
It is here that in the area of health, energy, new information technologies, new products are developed, new medicines are invented, innovations are found, and these will change radically the life of people of the United States, but also of people all over the world.
C'est pourquoi nous sommes fiers qu'il y ait plus de 300 entreprises françaises qui soient installées à San Francisco et plus largement en Californie.
And this is precisely why we are so proud that more than 300 French companies have chosen to settle down here in San Francisco or in California more generally.
Nous sommes également fiers que un tiers des investissements américains en France viennent de Californie.
And we are also particularly proud that a third of American investments in France come from this very region, California.
Il est vrai que nous sommes liés par l'histoire. Des Français ont contribué à la fondation de la ville de San Francisco. D'autres y ont installé des vignobles célèbres. Et puis, aujourd'hui, viennent créer dans les technologies d'avenir.
We have a historic ties. That certainly is true. The French have contributed to the creation of the city. Other French people have decided to create vineyards in this region. And now, more French men and women have decided to settle down here to work in the area of information and communication technology.
Ce qui fait que nous avons l'indélicatesse de penser que beaucoup de Français sont là parce qu'ils pensent qu'ils sont en France.
So I hope you will forgive us for thinking that the reason why so many French people have decided to come and live here is because they think they are in France.
Nous avons d'ailleurs des liens culturels, puisque nos musées travaillent ensemble, entre Paris et San Francisco, des expositions tout à fait magnifiques qui y ont été présentées, aussi bien pour les impressionnistes que pour aussi la création contemporaine. Nous avons également une coopération en matière de cinéma, donc nous partageons la même culture.
We've also got very strong cultural ties in the area of musea, for instance. Between Paris and San Francisco, there is a very fruitful cooperation which gave rise to various beautiful exhibitions, one on Impressionism, for instance, another one on contemporary art. We have also very close ties in the field of cinema. So culture is definitely very high on the agenda.
Nous avons également une coopération de très haut niveau entre nos universités, aussi bien le Fonds France Berkeley que le Fonds France Stanford, et nous souhaitons encore amplifier les échanges entre les étudiants.
We also have very fruitful cooperation between our universities. The France Berkeley Fund is one example, the France Stanford Fund another one, and we are intent on enhancing this cooperation between students on either side of the Atlantic.
En Californie, vous voulez changer le monde. C'est une belle ambition, une grande aventure. Et il se trouve que nous avons la même. Depuis des siècles, la France veut changer le monde. Alors, nous sommes en Californie pour y réussir ensemble. Changer les technologies, changer les manières de produire et de consommer, changer les conditions de la santé, parvenir à un monde meilleur. La Californie et la France devaient forcément se rencontrer. C'était pour leur histoire déjà accomplie. Ce sera également pour leur avenir. Merci à tous d'y contribuer.
In California, you want to change the world. That is a beautiful mission, a very ambitious mission, but one we really understand because we have the same vision. For centuries, France wanted to change the world, and together we can change the world. We can change the way we consume, we produce, the way we deal with health or technology in order to make the world a better place. California and France, a match made in heaven, in history and in future.
Again, Mr. President, thank you for your visit to San Francisco. You are very wise men choosing San Francisco. And know that we hope that you leave your heart here so that you can come back and visit it. And know that the key not only does the key open our buildings, it opens our hearts. So please come back very soon. And today we're taking you to a French restaurant, a San Francisco French restaurant, but we'll have to call out for fast food if you like. Again, thank you, and please join us in the reception if your people will let you have the time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.